where you said, I was tired of talking about the old story. It was hindering me, and I could not move on to create a new story if I kept repeating those old patterns and those old stories and those old lies. I love that you said that because I think so many of us live in that space where even when we tell our stories, we don't realize that we're opening up a can of worms per se, like where you keep repeating what was, but it robs us of what could be if we're not cautious, right? So I want to talk about that fine line. So I know that you touched upon it, but I'd love for you to break that down for our listeners.
So when we, I'm going to use divorce as an example, or a failed business, right? I've had both. So either one, whatever resonates with you as you're listening to this, you have this idea of what it looks like, and we get really attached to that outcome. And then it doesn't turn out that way. And then there's shame, and there's sadness, and there's fear, and there's guilt, and there's anger, and there's all these things around it. And when we feel wronged, or we feel hurt, or this thing has happened that did not at all match up to what we wanted or expected or anticipated, sometimes there's a bit of a payoff, right? To talk about it because we get sympathy or attention, or people want to like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe you went through that. And a lot of times, honestly, that secondary gain, and we talk about this a lot in my practice, but it's unconscious. It's not like an actual conscious manipulation, but it drives why we stay stuck is that there's a payoff. There's something that's coming to us that's a bigger gain than getting out of the problem itself. And usually it's not something that people are aware of necessarily. So if you think about the way that the unconscious mind works and the brain and universal law, what we focus on is what we, and that's just truth. So it's not about just that, oh, positive thinking, because most people will say, I'm a positive thinker, but if we really look at their thoughts, they're always mostly thinking about the things they don't want. So to give you an example, as humans, we think between 65,000 and 85,000 thoughts every day. 90% of those thoughts are recycled. They are the same things we thought yesterday, the day before, the week before. They're things that we think about in the middle of the night. And 75% of those thoughts are negative. And people will say, but I'm a pretty positive thinker. But our brains are wired the way they're wired, and we're mostly thinking about what we don't want, right? I don't want to be in this situation again. I don't want to be in this financial mess. I don't want to be in another relationship where I'm not loved or cherished. I don't want. And that's what keeps people stuck. So